So this is going to be another way to factor problems from section 9.7. So far I taught you the trial and error method, then I taught you the diamond method, which was kind of an additional method. And I want to tag along this third method, which is called the box method of factoring. So it doesn't really matter which method you use. And as far as preferences go, I mean, initially I liked the trial and error method. Because I like puzzles. The diamond method was great because it always gave you the right answer without any type of guesswork. And the box method seems to do almost everything that the diamond method does, but it's a little bit simpler, a little bit cleaner, a little bit faster. So if you like this method, you're more than welcome to use it. If you don't like it, you like the box or the trial and error, you can ignore it, but I figured I would show it to you and provide this resource in case you do want to use it. So let's take a look at this particular trinomial, 10x squared plus 11x minus 6. These are the typical 9.7 trinomials. There is something in front of that first variable, something in front of the x squared, and that's something you can't really factor out because that 10, you don't have that in common with the 11 here or the negative 6. So no GCF factorization here. So here you could have used a trial and error where you came up with your two boxes, then figured out what multiplied to get the 10, what multiplied to get the negative 6, get your first terms, get your last terms, figure out that you need, let's say, a plus and a minus, you don't know which one's the plus, which one's the minus, and such, and do your trial and error. This probably would have been a bit of a pain to do as trial and error, probably a lot of trials and a lot of errors. You could have used the diamond method here, done your diamond, wrote the 11 on the bottom, multiplied 10 and negative 6, put that on the top, get your sides, split the middle term, group the first two, the last two, factor them out, and such, and then the diamond. So this is another way of doing it. And again, I think this might be the best of the three, but I'll leave that one up to you. So to start the box method, you need a box, specifically a 2x2 box. And then, kind of like the diamond, you fill it in with some parts you know and some parts that you figure out down the line. So always you will fill the top left corner with the first term. So the first term will go into the top left corner. Then you'll fill in the bottom right corner with the last term. So here the 10x squared from here will always occupy, or whatever's in that first position will occupy the top left, and whatever is on the last position, in this case a negative 6, will occupy the bottom right. These two are open boxes that you are going to be filling in. It's kind of like the diamond method, similar to that. So how do we figure out what goes into those two open boxes? Well, first of all, we're going to multiply the 10x squared and negative 6. And that's going to give us a negative 60x squared. Then you're going to list all the multiplicatives of negative 60x squared. What times what can get you negative 60x squared? And split them up in a way where it's always something x and something x. Don't do x squared and then multiplicative without an x at all. You could do that, of course, but split them up that you always have an x and an x in each multiplicative. So that could be negative 10x and 6x. It could be, let's see here, negative 20x could be 3x, and of course those can be flipped. The 10x could be positive and negative 6 could be negative. I'm just assigning the negative arbitrarily to one or the other. Sorry, that was wood chop. Let's see here. It could be 5 and 12, so let's say negative 5x and times 12x, and you can go on and fill in the rest. But essentially, you go until you find a combination of the two that when combined, so if you combine these two multiplicatives, you can get the middle term. So our middle term is a positive 11x. So let's see if we found the combination yet. No, not really. So you keep looking until you reach a combination that will yield the middle term. And I had to kind of pretty much go down the line and get them all before I got to maybe the obvious one, maybe not. But this one right here, which, let me highlight it, the negative 15x and the positive 4x, or the positive 15x and the negative 4x, however you look at it, but the 15 and the 4. Because if you take a negative 15x and a positive 4x and you combine them, actually, no, not that combination. It's the other day, I'm sorry. The 15x has to be positive and the 4x has to be negative. There we go, that combination, because our 11x is positive. So this is the combination of multiplicatives that will work, not that one, but this one, to get us our middle term. Great, so we got our two multiplicatives. So what do we do next? Well, you put them into the two empty boxes. Doesn't matter where each one goes. You could have put the 4 here and the 15 there. Again, doesn't really matter. Great. Next part, you are going to factor up and down, and then you're going to factor side to side. Now, what do I mean? You are going to factor this way. You're going to factor this way. Then you're going to factor that way, and you're going to factor that way. And you're factoring using the GCF method. So let me get another color. Okay, here we go. So factoring through here, what do a negative 6 and a negative 4x have in common? Well, they have a negative 2 in common. Yes. All right. What about a negative 4x and a positive 10x squared? What do they have in common? Well, they have a 2x. Alright, so that was this way, this was this way. Now let's go this way. 15x and 10x squared. So I'm now factoring this way. So what do they have in common? I'd say 5x. And then what does a negative 6 and a 15x have in common? A 3? Yeah, that's about it. Alright, and you're essentially done. You take the top, make a parenthesis out of that, 5x minus 2. You take the sides, make a parenthesis out of that. And you're done. If you were to FOIL this out, 5 times 2x is 10x. 5x times 3 is positive 15x. Oh, sorry, 10x squared. 5x times 2x is 10x squared. Then 5x times 3 is positive 15x. And negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And if you simplify this, you get 10x squared plus 11x minus 6. So it all works out. So that's essentially the box method of factoring. If you want to use this method to apply to all of these factoring problems that have that something in front of the x squared and that you can't factor out instead of the diamond or the trial and error, you are more than welcome to use it on the next quiz. If you have any questions, you want to explore this more, just see me in class after school, before school lunch, and I'll more than happily work a few more problems out and hopefully explain this further to you. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in class.